And we are live. Guys, I'd like to welcome you to the Let's Talk Fishing video podcast. My name is Jay Angel. I'm going to be your podcaster for this evening. I am excited about this. I have a guy who has been on the show before, a guy who I have fished with, has become a good friend of mine, none other than Tadd Maise from cna't Gel. How are you doing tonight, Tadd?
I'm doing great, Jay. How y'all doing? Hello, hey, everybody.
I'm doing great.
Good to be back on.
Thank you very much, man. I'm really excited about this because the weather is getting colder, water temperatures are dropping. That means good fishing down here.
Yes, it does, Jay. It means good fishing of all species now. We're talking speckled trout, redfish, bass, all in the same areas, man. Don't have to go far. You can catch all three species in one spot now, and we've been doing it. We did a show earlier called the Trifecta, where we went bass fishing, red fishing, and trout fishing. Now, we had to move from where we're catching the bass to catch the trout, but it was only like a 10-minute boat ride to get to the trout,
That's so much fun.
Guys, let me just say, we have been having some amazing trips fishing speckled trout lately. And shad crack has been amazing. I didn't design shad crack. I didn't have it in mind of using it for speckled trout. I built it for bass fishing mainly.
Yes.
And all we can say is wow. Wow. I mean, it's been amazing. There's days we got a couple of trips where on video, Deborah and I got 78 trout caught and released on video, and we got 20-inch trout we catching on video. So we got another video coming out Monday. We got some monsters on it. Now it was that video was done right after a front, so it was cool. The trout were bigger. Now we didn't catch as many. I think we ended up with 28 that day, but man, they were all big trout.
I'd like to say this is what he's talking about. cna't Gel shad crack. It's easy to use. I don't want to open this right now. Just you take your little lure you're using and just squeeze it on. Throw it back out. Throw it back out.
Throw it out there. With the water temps cooling down, you're looking at 30 to 40 casts before you even need to reapply your gel right now. Now, I will say this, the more fish you catch, like if you're catching more fish and you're handling your lure, so you're kind of taking it off, you may want to reapply a little bit more. But, man, the gel stays on for a really long time now. It's not a one cast and you got to reapply it. It's on there for many casts now. We just got a message, Jay, from a guy just texted us, said they fished today. He said he was the only one that used shad crack, and he caught 95% of the fish in the boat today. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Guys, I'd like to tell you a quick story about this. I was over there fishing in Mississippi, and we were catching white trout. We thought the white trout had moved out, but we could still see them hitting the water. And so I was using the swimming mullet from Gulp, Berkeley Gulp. Berkeley Gulp is supposed to be impregnated with scent. That's why it works so well. Well, I was getting short strikes. So then I put on some salty crack. And then what I got was fish that were actually hitting it and taking it deep. And that was the first time I ever used it because you sent me some. I went on that trip, and then we fished together.
Yeah.
Actually, Rick Bailey just said he used the gel today and killed the trout.
Jay, when we fished, we were fishing in hurricane force winds, man.
Yes, we were.
It was a tough day. Jay and I went fishing. It was the only day that Jay could go was a Monday. He was off. That was was it Veterans Day, I think?
Veterans Day,
like
yeah.
It was Veterans Day. I was off. Jay was off. We had 25, 30-mile-per-hour winds, maybe even more. And we had super high tides. So a lot of the boat launches were closed. Pier 90 was closed. The floodgate was closed. The bridge, the launch in the Zalmans was closed. Under the bridge. The only launch we was able to find open was Tadd Maise in the Zalmans. And let me tell you something. We made the run around the Cotahuachi through Lake Salvador. So now I know a shortcut through so we don't have to go in the lake. But since the hurricane came, it pushed everything around in there, and it's too hard. I can't figure out how to get through it right now. So I didn't want to take a chance of getting stuck with Jay, so I just took the safe route. And we made it. We made it there and back. But when we got to Cotahuachi, man, there were white caps where we were fishing at.
Oh, yeah. And getting across Salvador, actually getting back across Salvador was a nightmare.
Yeah.
We were going against the waves so every time, Oh, we just got a question from the audience, from Elijah Talley. Elijah Talley lives up there by Toledo Bend, which is just a fantastic place to live if you fish bass. He said, does it work great for bass?
It works excellent for bass. So up in Toledo Bend, you have the same thing. You have shad. It's one of the main species that the fish eat. I mean, they do eat a lot of perch up there, and they eat crawfish, So I fish Toledo Bend. I fish Gunnersville a lot, both of them, right? Shad crack, bass crack, and craw crack all work up there, right? You
yes.
Like I said, you need to figure out what the fish are feeding on at the moment, at that time, and that's what you swap to. If you know they eat on shad, use shad crack. And like I said, if you're going to be flipping a crawfish, well, you're going to want to use craw crack eventually. Obviously, you want your crawfish to smell like a crawfish. And I'm just going to say bass crack. Bass crack is this whole own entity by itself. So, bass crack has got 3 different amino acids in it, right? I don't know if y'all know, but everything, your shadfish have amino acids in it. Your crawfish have amino acids in it, okay? And there's other amino acids. Bass crack has 3 different amino acids in it that trigger fish to strike, okay? So we use a lot of times I'm using bass crack in January, February. I'm throwing bass crack. I put it on a chatterbait a lot, with a swim bait on it. And man, we smash them down here. I always tell everybody, and I'm not telling this to people just to make them buy the gel, but it's good to have all 3 of them on you. That way, you got it covered. Just because you put it on one gel on, you ain't getting bit. Sometimes you got to swap over to the other until you find out what they want. To all you forward-facing sonar guys, let me just tell you, I got forward-facing sonar also, and that'll let you know what's going on, right? Because you could put you put the gel on, you can see your fish down there, you can throw out there, and sometimes they ain't looking at it, don't want it. And you swap over to the next one, you flip it out there, and you can actually start seeing them react to the bait. And then okay, I found out what they want.
That's a good point right there. That's a good point because you can see how that's a very good point. Wow. Tadd, you said something before the show that really made a lot of sense to me, that you look at the fish that you have in your live well and see what they're, and that way you can see what they're eating.
No, that's right. When you put that
live well knows they spit up everything in their stomach,
that's right.
So if you're seeing crawfish,
you throw crawfish, put the scent on it.
Go ahead.
So one of our first trips, when we just started fishing speckled trout, we decided we were gonna take some home, right? So we started throwing a couple of trout in the live well. Next thing open up the live well, and we was using salty crack, right? And we were catching, right? We were getting bit with salty crack. But when I opened up the live well, I noticed, man, it was full of shad all over the lava that was spitting up. Not only that, finally I looked in the water and I saw half dead shad. And I'm like, man, these fish are eating on shad. And it's like, we're in November. Normally, they would be eating on shrimp, right? Normally, where I'm fishing at, you would see the shrimp hopping on the water, something like that, and you would see them. But I didn't see that. But we saw dead shad or half dead shad after that. And I'm like, you know what? Shad crab. So, man, as soon as we went to shad crab, I put it on. I made my first cast. It hit the water. Boop, done, on. And I'm going to show you guys something that in the saltwater industry, guys, you saltwater anglers, I'm going to show you something that is going to revolutionize the saltwater fishing. Now, it is a hook, and it's a jig head, and it was designed for forward-facing sonar mainly. It's called a Demiki rig. All right? And this is it. Y'all see this? You see that?
Yes.
When you put your bait on, all right, you put a bait on it, you stick it on there, and you slide it on. Now look at that. Does that look a lot better than a normal jig head? It slides into the head. Also, so I was trying to figure out, because I was throwing this tight line, right? And I was smashing them. If you look at our latest video, dude, I was smashing them with this jig head. I was trying to figure out what was different about it, right? What was different about this jig head than any other jig head, like a death grip jig head or whatever people talk about, right?
Yeah.
Here's the ticket. So I put my forward-facing sonar on. I put my live scope on. Right? I made a cast out. So I'm working it back because I don't use live scope when I'm trout fishing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm working the bait back and I'm pulling it, right? And when I let it fall, right, a normal jig head, when the bait falls, it goes straight down, like
yes,
that. Okay, not this one. When I pull it and I stop and I let it fall, she starts falling almost straight, coming down like that. All right.
So it
and then when you
falls out
hop
like
it,
a 45-degree angle.
right, and when you hop it up, when you pick it and you hop it up, she comes up. And if you want to try to kind of hover it, you just keep twitching top of your pole. Hold your pole up about 90 degrees, Brian. You start twitching a little bit. And you can keep that bait going and hovering, coming back real slow. Man, I'm going to tell you what. It was amazing, dude. We were just spanking them. And look, if you go in our video, you're going to see in that video, we were destroying them. You hear?
Man.
Between this bait and shad crack, with this jig head and shit. And also, I put it under a cork.
Yeah.
Right? So on a cork, and you're popping it, and it just falls slow like that when you pop it. I didn't know it was going to be that good, but man, let me tell you what, it was amazing. We caught a ton of fish. We caught way more fish probably than anybody that was out there. The last several trips we went out there. I talked to one boat, they had 2 trout. We hit 78 on camera. They had 2. So I ended up giving them some shad crack. Now, hopefully, I didn't get to talk to them after because we were on our way in.
Tadd, I'd like to talk about this. Speaking of revolutionizing.
Thunder jig. Delta Little Thunder jig. Man, I catch a ton of bass and redfish on that bait. That is
too, right?
That's a 3/8 ounce Thunder jig, and that's Delta shad. And I throw that religiously starting in January. I'll put a 3 point, I think it's a 3.25-inch H2O swimmer. What it is, gizzard shad green. I think it's gizzard shad green or green shad or whatever. I think it is on it. And man, either with shad crack. Last year though, I started off with bass crack on it, and we were destroying them. You could go look on our video from last year. From I think it should have been somewhere in February. It was my Well, it was my very first YouTube video. I'm gonna let you guys know. We just started our channel then, so we haven't even been doing videos for a year.
Okay, let's talk about that. What is your YouTube channel called?
It's just called Crush It Gel. That's it. We
Crush It Gel. Crush It
Crush
Gel,
It
guys.
Gel on
Go and like
YouTube.
and subscribe it. And subscribe. Tadd makes some cool videos.
We did the channel to try to promote our product, right? But now it's taking off, and it's more than that now. And you know, I've had people say, "Hey, man, maybe you need to change the name of your channel," but I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that or not.
Well, Tadd, you are Crush It Gel, so
Yeah.
Also, I'd like to tell you guys, if you'd like to buy Crush It Gel, go to crushitgelbasscrack.com, crushitgelbasscrack.com. And if you want a discount, since it is the buying season, use Let's Talk Fishing 10. That's
Also,
a promo. Go ahead.
Also, guys, starting on, is it Friday? Starting this Friday through the weekend, we're going to be running a 2-for-1 sale. Buy 2, get 1 free. And you can still use your coupon codes and still get 10% off. So if you use Jay's coupon code, you're going to get buy 2, get 1 free, and you're still going to get 10% off.
And since it is the buying season, you know, Crush It Gel makes great stocking stuffers. Just make sure you have it in a. I would put it in a plastic bag, though.
Yeah, and we're going to start selling more stuff on our website. We're going to start selling all the gear that we use, all the tackle that we use. You're going to be able to buy it on our website. These hooks, I just ordered a bunch of these hooks. This is made by Spanker Lures, right? I got in touch with them. So we're going to start selling these. You're going to they're going to be shipped on Friday. We're going to be selling Delta Lure stuff. We'll be selling the spinner baits, chatter baits, and some swim jigs, you know. But like I said, it's only what we use. Only what we use.
That's Redfish City
all
right
kinds
there.
of stuff.
That's Redfish City right
That's
there.
That's the Redfish rig right there, yeah.
Yeah. That's Redfish City right there, man.
I just throw a chatterbait. I'll throw a freaking a thunder jig. It's just as many redfish on it.
It's fun to be burning something like that and have a redfish smack it when you're reeling it as fast as you can. Something else that's very exciting that I want to talk about is Shimano reels, man. You know, I just started using these things this year because a very good supporter of mine, he sells these at his tackle store. He sent me a few of these to try out. I've been trying them, I tell you, man.
Yeah.
This is the SLX DC.
We've been swapping over to those, Jay. You know, little by little, you know, I've been using Lou's speed spoos for a long time, but we just recently started swapping over to the Shimano reels. And actually, we talked to a Shimano rep Friday, and we may have a chance of getting on the Shimano team for next year. So we're going to see how that goes.
And for those of you guys who like spinning reels, for the price, Stratix. I love Stratix, man. This is a Grant rod with a Stratic on it. I'm going to spool this up before I go fishing with Tadd next time because this is my wacky rigging rod. And wacky
so what you going to spool it up with?
Geez, that's a difficult question down here. Probably 10-pound braid.
Yeah, I use 15.
Because you want 15?
I use 15 braid. And I always use a leader on it.
To a fluoro leader, yeah.
Yeah, I use a 12. I don't never use anything smaller than a 12-pound test down here. I use a Seaguar Red Label.
Sure.
It doesn't break the bank,
right? Red Label fluoro, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I throw my wacky rigs and all on.
Because guys, we're Tadd fishes. You just never know. You just never know when you're going to hook into a 20-pound red. Kenneth O'Malley, a good friend of mine from Illinois, said, "What's your most popular scent?"
Lately, it's been what we've been selling the most of, babe. Shad, right? Shad's been the popular one right now, but it depends. Like Eddie Carper, where Eddie's been at on the Great Lakes, it's been craw crack up there on the Great Lakes. You know, he had no luck with shad crack on the Great Lakes with the smallmouth, right? But
Yeah,
he had lots of luck with craw crack. Now, I don't think they got shad up there, so they got gobies and stuff like that. So Eddie
well,
and
they
I
have,
have been talking.
but they have alewives and all kinds of stuff like that in the Great Lakes.
Yeah, I can't get my hands on any of that to make it.
You get you get a little bit away from the Great Lake. I'm sure there are shad in the Great Lakes because every one of those lakes around there is just full of shad. They might not, it might get too cold for them,
Yeah.
particularly like northern Lake Michigan and Lake Superior, which are fantastic smallmouth areas.
But,
See, northern
look,
Lake
man,
Michigan, that's where Green Bay is. You know,
I got to tell everybody that bass fish have all three. That's the best advice I can give you because all three of them are going to shine on one day or the other. You know, I mean, it's just on what they're eating at that time. You know, that's why we had to come out with three different scents. You know, I mean, because you got shad, they eat crawfish, and well, bass crack is just something a little bit different. You know, and that one works really well too. I mean, bass crack is our original scent, right? That's what started. We
sure.
started with, and then I started making other stuff.
Well, I've caught fish on your man. I haven't used crawl crack yet. I haven't used bass crack, but the other two that I've used, I've caught fish on.
Yeah.
Shad crack and salty crack. Salty crack worked really well in Mississippi. You know, that's
Oh,
not. We weren't in the marsh. We could actually see the Gulf from where we were fishing.
so I had a couple friends. They've won a couple tournaments down, the club tournaments in Venice, and they were using craw crack down there, right? And everybody knows in Venice, there's a lot. The bass always eating crawfish down there. They spit up
Oh
crawfish
yeah.
down there, right? So they were using craw crack down there. Like I said, it all depends where you at, you know, what the fish are eating on.
Well, Gary Bourne just of thin line fishing just brought up a good point. He said crawl crack should be picking up shortly because this is the time of the year when the crawfish start coming out of the mud.
Yeah. And guess what? When they come out the mud, y'all know what color they are? They blue.
They're blue. Okay.
That's right. Craws are blue almost, a darkish gray blue color when they come out the ground. They don't turn red until the water temperatures get hot, right? That's when they turn bright red, start turning red. So everybody always wanted to know how come you throw in a black, blue looking crawfish in the wintertime. That's why, because that's the color they are when they come out the ground, when they start coming up. My favorite color is like that blueberry color. That's what I throw in the wintertime. A Zoom speed crawl blueberry. You there, Jay? I lost him. I lost you, Jay. You what? You got my phone? Text him. I lost him. Hmm.
Okay. It looks like I might be
Okay.
back
I hear you.
now. Can you hear me, Tad?
Yeah, yeah. Did you hear what I told you about in the wintertime? My favorite color on speed car to throw was a blueberry. Uh, um,
Okay. Okay, no, I did not hear that. I was being rudely interrupted by my own technical difficulties.
I throw that Zoom speed craw, blueberry, ultra vibe speed craw in the wintertime.
Blueberry, okay.
Yep. Catch a lot of fish on it.
Hey, guys, where Tadd fishes, Lake Catawachi, in that area, Lake Salvador, I just can't comprehend how many fish are there. They just have big shoals of trout that are not, of shrimp that come in. There are millions upon millions of shad in there right now. You know, the shrimp all move out this time of the year, but the shad are still there. There's so much bait. There's so much cover. Everywhere you look, the water's up in the grass, and there are a guy from where I'm from. A guy from where I'm from, just it staggers my mind when you see so many fish come in. You know, trout. They're busting the surface. I was fishing out there with Lloyd Landry. It must have been 3 acres of shrimp just busting the surface of the water, hundreds of seagulls and thousands of trout underneath them. Come on down here, guys, in South Louisiana.
It's an awesome sight to see, man. When you start seeing them shrimp hopping across the water, and you actually see the trout like bass hitting on them. Pop, pop, you know, it's awesome. You know, you take that shrimp that you like to throw, and you take it off a cork. Okay, when they're like that, don't put it on the cork.
That's you can't put it under a cork.
There. Don't put it under a cork. When you always have one tied on without a cork. And when you see that, you bring that shrimp out there, bro, and you swim that shrimp on top of the water. Because I don't know if you know, Jay, when a shrimp is running, a shrimp will swim on top of the water, and that's when the trout are getting them. And you just reel that shrimp in real slow on top of the water, and you'll catch it.
You can see the scars on this popping cork from where the redfish hit them. Yeah. This is what ruins this stuff right here is just from the, doing this. But those scars right there in the middle, those are all from redfish hitting it. I love having battle scarred popping corks.
Yeah, they're kind of like a bass, you sockeye fishing and you pop that cork and a bass will come up and eat the cork.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but also this bass might have a mouth this big around.
Yeah, the red does it.
Redfish have mouths, man, and their mouths are made out of leather. It's just, who is it? Lloyd Landry describes redfish as bass on steroids.
Yeah, everybody asks me. They say, "What's it like to catch a redfish?" I say, "Go tie your line on the end of a truck and let it take off." I said that's about the best way I can explain it.
And when you were talking the hook. When you were talking about tackle, a 6.5 foot rod, medium action rod with 6 pound test is fine for bass up north. I have caught 7 pound largemouth. I've caught 6 pound smallmouths on that rig I just told you about. But when you're just pulling the bass off the rocks, then you can fight them in open water. That's not the case down here. No,
you don't know what you're gonna catch.
Yeah, but even a big bass can get down in all that vegetation, and you're not getting him out. You're not getting a 7-8 pound bass out of vegetation on a 6 pound line. I've tried; it doesn't work.
I'm running. If there's a lot of grass, I'm throwing 50 pound, 65 pound braid. That's it. I ain't going nothing smaller.
That way, guys, you can get that dang bass out of those weeds and into your boat where it needs to be.
Yeah. Now I do use a lot of fluorocarbon down here, right? If I'm throwing a crankbait and I'm throwing my swim baits like I've been throwing, I'm throwing it on Red Label, Seagull Red Label. I use 12 pound test, and I'm gonna tell you, you'll be surprised how strong that stuff is. You tie the right knot, it's pretty strong. It's pretty rugged.
Right knot, man. You have to tie the right knot, guys. make sure if you're using fluorocarbon, you never used it before, you have to be more careful with the knots that you tie, because wet your knot before you pull it, before you cinch it tight.
That's the main thing, Jay. Wet it
Yeah.
before you cinch it. Yep. You do that, you're all right. If you don't wet it and when you cinch it, it's gonna break. As long as you wet it and then you cinch it tight, you're good to go.
When I first started using fluorocarbon, I had a lot of them come untied. Been tying knots for 40 years. No, fluorocarbon's different. Use more polymer knots now.
I use a string knot mostly on it.
Okay.
You know, I guess that's what you call it.
Yeah, I'm not very good with knots. I have about 2 or 3 that I use, and
Me too. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
yeah. I don't know, man. I'm just not very good with knots.
I use a polymer knot for braid, and I'm thinking it's the string knot for fluorocarbon. I use the same knot for that for mono.
And uni knot for tying leaders. I mean, I like to have all my leaders tied before I go fishing, and have a couple extra rods too.
Yeah, because it takes us forever to tie those darn knots because we can't see good.
Yeah, I can't see anymore, and if it's cold at all, my fingers won't work.
I got that same problem.
Guys, don't get old.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can think of. But man, guys, Lloyd, my goodness, I even call you the wrong name. Tadd has invited me to go fishing again. I cannot wait to get back out on the water with him, because despite 30-mile-an-hour conditions and the wind was blowing the wrong way, we still caught fish after fish after fish after fish. And we couldn't even get to some of the places he wanted to take me because of 5-foot waves. So
yeah. It was a bad day to fish, man. It really was. It was a day to stay home, but you know what? We ventured out anyway and did what we had to do, caught a few fish, It wasn't the best trip, our best trip, but we managed to catch some fish, It wasn't no 50, 60 fish trip like I was having, but we still caught some.
And, catching fish on thunder jigs, it's just that's fun for me. I love to do that. I love to catch fish on crankbaits and thunder jigs and spinner baits, because it's reeling fast and something hits it. That's exciting for me.
They were eating a thunder jig that day because I always told you I like throwing it on a windy day.
Yeah, you had it. Careful what you wish for. Yeah.
I don't throw it on the day when they don't have any wind. I say, man, I like to throw this bait when it's windy. Well, like Jay said, be careful what you wish for.
Oh, here's a good one. Gary Bourne just said he's going to be testing Crush It gel for sockeye.
It works well on sockeye. We catch a lot of it on sockeye. We use the bass crack, the green one on sockeye, but I promise you shad crack's going to work on sockeye as well. So last year we caught a lot of big sockeye down in the Bayou Buff area, throwing it. And also we caught a lot of sockeye on it down in Gunnersville, when we down there in April, man. We caught some. Well, over there, it's crappie, right? They don't call them sockeye, but we caught some monsters down there.
Crappies, yeah.
Yeah, Deborah's caught. I think Deborah had some 14 inches down there.
So Bayou Buff, is that the one over by Amelia?
No. That's not far from my house either. That's on Lake des Allemands. Right?
Okay. There's a Lake Buff over by Amelia I used to catch sockeye on.
Yeah, it's Lake Buff over there. I'm just going to let you know that's not my favorite place to go, right? That place has bit me in the butt many a times, dude.
Sure.
I'd be on fish for a tournament. I go over there, and it's just bite me in the butt. So, Cotawachee's my spot, or here in Raceland. That's my 2 favorite places. Lake DeKalb area. Lake DeKalb area used to be one of my favorite places, but, the drought last year put a hurting on it. Bayou Black was another place, was one of my favorite places, but I really don't go down that way anymore either because of the issues with the land and people claiming all the water and stuff down there. So I stopped going.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, it's just not worth going down there. You don't even know where you're at anymore. You don't know if you can go in this area or not, and you can end up in a bad place and it's a place not supposed to, and they'll come write you a ticket right there.
And next thing you know, old Mr. Green, here comes old Mr. Green Jeans. Yeah.
So we pretty much stopped going there.
That's definitely an issue. That's definitely an issue. Well, it's about 35 after the hour. Would you like to do any shout outs, any thank yous to any people, businesses, companies?
Well, a shout out to Delta Lures. Fred makes some really great lures, dude. We've been buddies for a long time, man, and he's been helping me out with mine. I've been helping him out with his. To me, there isn't a better chatterbait or spinnerbait on the market other than Delta Lures. Who else, babe? Huh? Oh, well, we're going to talk about Spanker Jigs, right? Because him and I are starting to get a little relationship now that I've been buying some stuff from him. He really makes a good product, guys. Like I said, we're going to start carrying these hooks. But you can also go on Spanker Jigs online if you wanted to check them out and order some. I mean, I'm telling you guys in the saltwater industry, you want to check these out, buddy, because it's a game changer in the saltwater industry. It really is. I believe I'm the first one to use this. I know I am. I'm the first guys to use this in Louisiana for speckled trout and redfish. Y'all know I caught 160 something reds one day, and this is the jig head we were using. We had 162 reds, I believe, on video, all caught and released. And this is the jig head we were using when we did that. That and shad crab.
Well, I would like to make a shout out to Miss Deborah for her hospitality when you brought me by your house.
Yeah.
She got a hot meal for both of us, and it was excellent food. Thank you so much, Miss Deborah. I love that. After a hard day on the water, getting beaten up with waves and wind all day, get to put some food in my stomach before a long drive home.
Oh, Z's Tackle. I'd like to thank, I got Z's Tackle out there. Joey Zimmer at Z's Tackle. Yeah, for believing in us. When we first wanted to try to start getting in stores, Z's Tackle was the first store to help us out and put us in a store, right?
Actually, my buddy Rob has a question for you. Are you in Nacos?
Yes, we are. Nacos and Raceland.
Because Rob was down there. He works for Pittman Creek tackle distributors, and he walked into Nacos and he saw Crushed Gel, and he's like, "That's got to be Tadd's."
Yeah, we're in Nacos, Landry's Outboards and Tackle, B&B Tackle down in Belchase, Sanji's and Houma, Joe's Landing down in Lafitte carries it. We're in a lot of stores, and then, like I said, we got our website.
Got our website, crushedgelbasscrack.com, guys. Crushedgelbasscrack.com. Right down there on the bottom left of the screen. Go ahead and go there.
YouTube. Yeah, and our YouTube is Crushed Gel on YouTube, guys. Come check us out. And if y'all go click on there, would y'all mind subscribing to our YouTube channel?
And we're having a giveaway.
Oh, also, we're having a giveaway soon. We're going to be giving away, we're going to be doing a 13 fishing reel, hat, and some gel. We're going to be giving away. You have to be a subscriber to win it. So, you got to watch Monday's video and get the code word. And all you do is, when you get the code word, all you got to go do is comment the code word on that video in the comment section, and we put your name in for the drawing. And we're either going to do it live or we're going to do a live drawing. Yeah, we're going to give it a couple of weeks. I think we're going to do the drawing like on the 20th. But we'll let everybody know when we're going to do the drawing. We'll put a video out, a week before the drawing, let you know what the day it's going to be on, and go from there. This is our first giveaway of many to come. We hope many and more to come.
Ah, Gary Bourne said he was waiting for that. He's going to be waiting for that. That's good, man. That's good. Well, Tadd, I'd like to thank both you and Deborah for your time. I know you guys are very busy. Tadd also works a full-time job. He goes fishing all the time. The guy runs a YouTube channel, and he runs Crusted Gel Bass Crack.
My wife runs a YouTube channel.
Okay, your wife runs a YouTube channel. Okay, that's why another shout out to Miss Deborah. Well, thank you guys, man. I love you guys. You guys are the best. I loved fishing with you. I had such a good time.
Just Jay, I really enjoy our friendship now, man, and you got a friend for life, man.
Well, thank you. We're going to grow our businesses together.
Yes, sir, we are.
That's how this works. That's how this works. A podcaster needs all the businesses. And I love helping out local guys, man. That's the biggest part of my business, because then I get to go fishing with you guys, get to know you. Then I just have more friends. And as far as I'm concerned, you can never have too many friends.
No, never,
And also, thank you for everybody who tuned in tonight. Man, happy Thanksgiving, guys. I know it's Thanksgiving, but go fishing anyways. But not on Thanksgiving, of course. That's how you end up like me, divorced.
We're gonna try to get a couple of days in this weekend. Hopefully
we will. We'll get a couple of days in fishing.
Yep.
Also, Gary Bourne just said he can't wait to fish with me. Yes, Gary, I'm going to fish with you too. I go fishing a lot. And actually, I don't think I get to go fishing enough, so I'm going to have to retire here a little bit.
Well, come on down this way, Gary. We'll show you around.
Well, thank you, guys. With that, I'm going to end the podcast. Tadd, please stick around. I'd like to talk to you after the podcast. And thank you, guys, for another great podcast. I love it when you guys comment. Man, that just makes the podcast so much better.
All right, bye, guys, everybody.